Happy Friday, everyone. This is NaturallyNiajaJ. Hey, so the context of this video is pretty much just sharing my experience um, just in working and the employee and the employer mindset, and just things that I've come to realize in my 37 short years that God has given me on this earth. So it may resonate with you, it may resonate with someone you know, but I thought I'd share it. So, to be successful on certain jobs, in certain industries, in certain companies, you have to put in your due diligence. You have to put in the work. You have to show that you are a team player and that you're worthy of promotion. And some examples of showing that you are worthy of promotion include, although on paper your work schedule is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., if there's a project, if there's a deadline, if there's something really important to the company, to the business, you will work until the project or the deadline has been completed. So in some cases, that may look as though you work at the office until 10 p.m., until midnight, sometimes into the wee hours of the morning to get that project done. Or it may mean you call home and tell your husband or you tell your wife, hey, I can't make it to fill in the blank. Or you have to tell your kids, hey, I can't come pick you up today. Or I can't watch your game today. Or I can't take you to the park like I promised over and over again because mommy or daddy, I have to work. And it may also look as though we can't give you a bonus or a promotion this year because it's not in the budget. But you keep on doing the good work. We see it. You're doing an excellent job, but we don't have it in our budget or we don't have the funds to give you any extra money. Or showing that you are a team player and you're worthy to stay on the company. It may also look like you may have to stab people in the back. You may have to adapt the crab mentality or the crawfish mentality where you put crabs and crawfish or different sea creatures in a bucket, and the ones that can actually climb out of the bucket and make it and get out are because they climbed on top of their fellow creature, same creature as them, right? So you have to maybe stab your coworkers in the back. You may have to take credit for something that was a group effort, but you want to look the best, right? Because you all are all vying for this one top position. So you have to do those things to make it. Seems pretty reasonable, right? I don't know. Keep listening. Or you have to show that you are worthy of promotion or you are worthy, you're a team player by applying and applying and applying for different positions only to be told, you know what, you don't qualify. On paper, you may look as though you meet the qualifications, but in actuality, what we're looking for, you don't quite have. I know that one all too well because I'm living it right now. Where they will tell you, we're looking for someone who has this skill set or this number of years experience. So we're going to either promote Danny from another department, or we're going to look outside the company and we're going to find someone else. And sometimes that someone else is a friend of the CEO, a friend of the CFO, a friend of the vice president, a friend of the supervisor or manager. You really just don't know, but they will hire who they want to hire. And you stay on and give us a few more years and show us that you're worthy. We'll look out for you. So as I'm thinking about all of that, it drives me to question, why on earth do people put up with that crap? And that's just a little bit of the crap, right? More of the crap is You were told, just get a job, just get a job. You have kids. You may have had kids early in life. You may have had kids work plan. You're still working on yourself. But now you're told, get a job because you're kind of in a desperate situation, quote unquote. So you get a job, but it's just a job. It's a minimum wage type job, or it's a job that is so well below the cost of living, you will never make it out. You're going to have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to pay the rent. Not talking about all the other expenses and things that come along with living, just to pay the basics. So you get that job. You find out that job sucks. Sucks bad. And sometimes you're doing jobs that is hard manual labor. Sometimes those jobs impact your health. You can see it right now in 2017. Look at all the lawsuits from companies and different corporations and different industries where people have put their health and their life on the line to quote unquote make a good living. We see that now because they were told, get a job, or hey, so and so down the street, they're hiring and it's good money. So you better go up there and get that job because remember, you have a family. So you need a job. And so you have to ask yourself, why is it we think that way? Why is it that we think we have to put up with so much crap on these jobs only to be compensated very little? And a lot of times we sacrifice so much thinking we will be promoted, thinking we will finally get that raise, thinking that we can at some point be a manager, be a vice president, be a chief, whatever. That's what we're thinking. At some point, I'm going to make it. At some point, they're going to find it in the budget to give me more money. At some point, if I just keep holding on, right? Because that's what we're told. And sometimes that can look like 5 years, it can be 10 years. And God forbid, I know people worked on jobs 30 and 40 years and they never, ever got that top slot or got close to the top slot. 40 years and they never really arrived. So, why is it that people think that? Why is it that people actually buy into that rhetoric? And not only do they buy into their rhetoric, they pass it on to their children and their children's children. And partially, some of that is your circle of influence. It's based on what you were taught. It's based on what people around you do. If people around you are telling you $10 an hour, that's good. $20 an hour, that's good. $30 an hour, that's good. $50 an hour, that's good. That's good. If you can get to that point, you have arrived. Right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that's not arriving. That's arriving to someone else's standard, right? That's someone else's standard. You have to ask yourself, why have I adopted that standard? You've adopted that standard probably because that's what you were taught to think. Maybe your parents taught you that. Maybe your mother, your father, if you were raised by a grandparent. That's all they knew. So that's what they tell you. Or they tell you when you graduate high school, you need to go to college. College is going to make you free. College is a wonderful thing. I enjoy college. I learned a lot from college. I am where I am, partially because I did graduate from college. But guess what? Where I thought I would be now, well, where I thought I would be now back then, I haven't arrived. Nowhere near it. But your circle of influence tells you if you take these steps or if you do these things, you will make it. You will arrive, right? So you believe it. Mama, daddy, auntie, uncle, sister, brother. They did it. They're quote unquote living a good life. So that's what I need to do. Or you get to college and that's what you hear other classmates say, or your professors tell you, or the dean, or the advisors. And they all tell you, you need to get your college degree. But then what's the after? You still put up with the same crap on jobs. You can have a college degree and your supervisor may not have one. You can have that college degree and never get promoted. You can have that college degree and be broke as a joke. So then you have to question, how is it that I've adopted this system of thinking and this system of living? Again, circle of influence has a lot to do with it. You're brainwashed to think that if I do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z will get me to the life that I desire. And that's not always true. And we are taught at an early age that being someone's employee is arriving. Very few of us are taught that being an employer is actually arriving, right? That's just what it is. You're not you're not equipped sometimes, not all the time, all the times, depends. You're not equipped to even think like that because your circle of influence, they don't think like that. Just think about it. Where is your circle of influence? Where are your friends? Where's your parents or your grandparents, your aunts and your uncles, people who live in your community, your neighbors, your church members, your kids' friends? Where are they? Right? So we've all adopted this mentality, this way of living, that that's how you get success. You fight, fight, fight on these jobs just so you can make ends meet. And I'm here to tell you, just making ends meet is not living. Not when there are people in this great country of the United States of America who are doing more than making ends meet. I'm here to tell you that there are people who own their own time. There are people who get up and they've made millions and billions and trillions of dollars in the 8 hour period that they were sleeping. Most people in this country punch a time clock, myself included, as of right now. We punch a time clock. We only get paid based on the hours that we work. If you work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you get paid 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you put in overtime, congratulations. You get time and a half for those hours you work over 40 in 1 week. Now, there is a clause if you are exempt from that rule. Your employer can technically make you work 45 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours. I've heard some people say they've worked 80 hours in a work week just to get the job done, but they're only paid 40 hours of that work week because they are salaried. That's a shame. But people do it because they feel threatened. They feel as though this economy is so bad and it's so horrible. And you should just be happy that you have a job. So if your job requires that you work over 40 hours and you're only paid 40, that's what you do to keep a roof over your head, right? That's what you do to have a life that you want. That's what you do. You make those sacrifices so that you can bring home the bacon. Well, guess what? The bacon at Johnny's house could be different than the bacon at your house. And you and Johnny both have the same 24 hours in a day. But maybe Johnny figured out there's a better way, there's a better strategy. And it's not necessarily getting up, fighting traffic, fighting with coworkers, fighting with supervisors, fighting with the job, fighting to get notice, fighting to get a promotion, fighting to get a bonus, fighting, fighting, fighting all these days of your life, only to come to find out you did all this thinking, I'm going to bring home the bacon, right? Only to find out that your neighbor next door is doing half of that crap and bringing home more bacon than you. Now, I'll be the first to say that the systems are not created equal. They're not. So you have to circumvent the system. So instead of blaming the system, instead of being a victim when all these things happen, and instead of blaming the government and the president and politicians and all these other different things and saying, I'm not where I want to be because X, Y, and Z. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not true. But I certainly wouldn't be sitting there lamenting over that all day and all night, and that's what people hear come out of your mouth. People get tone deaf. I would be knocking on Johnny's door. I would be asking Johnny, hey, I see you're doing something different. Hey, I heard you paid off your house in like 10 years or 5 years. I heard you paid off this massive mortgage in like 5 or 10 years or whatever. Hey, I heard you went and bought that new car up there at the dealership and you paid cash. Hey, I heard you just paid off a mountain of debt. Hey, I just saw that you went out of town and went and left the country. You've been gone over a month now. What are you doing? Because that's not going on in my house. Maybe you need to go and ask Johnny, what is he doing? And you may learn something. But until you get tired of being sick and tired, until you decide to change your mindset, until you decide to challenge status quo, until you decide that enough is enough, you will always be in that situation. And I try to be real cautious and conscientious about using absolutes because always is an absolute. But unfortunately, that is the case for many people. And what's sad about it is that people have that mentality and they pass that horrible mentality, that flawed mentality onto their children and their children's children. And I'm just here to say going to college is not a bad thing. And I'm not saying that don't go to college. That's not the purpose of this video. So I need you to understand that. The purpose of this video is to get you to sit and listen and think about where you are in life and if you've arrived. Are you still living check to check? You still renting and you want to buy, you want to be a homeowner, you want to have the benefits of being a homeowner? Do you want to go to a dealership and buy the car that you want and not the car that you can afford? Do you want to be able to send your child who graduated high school to school for free with your own money out of your own bank account? Do you want to be able to say, hey guys, let's pack the car up, or hey, let's get on a plane. Let's go to Rome or Rio de Janeiro or Guatemala and do it last minute? Do you want to be able to tell your child, let's go on a shopping spree? Let's go and just get whatever it is you want. Or do you want to be able to give to charities and give to missions and give to organizations that support the causes you believe in? No. Do you want to be able to help your family members, get them out of debt? Do you want to be able to get them just out of the hood or out of the trailer park or out of the slums, or get them out of suburban America and get them in the nicer neighborhoods, the nicer communities? Maybe you want to do that for your mom. Maybe you want to do that for your dad or your grandmother or your sister, a brother, someone who has, a lot of children and they're in poverty or struggling. They may be in middle class and struggling. You struggle in middle class, right? But guess what? If you want to have those things done and more, you're going to have to challenge status quo. You're going to have to knock on Johnny's door and say, Johnny, what is it that you're doing? Because I see you're doing all these things and I'm not. So this video is about you being honest with yourself, because I'm very honest with myself. And I know if I'm honest with myself, this may make you want to be honest with yourself. It's time out for just getting by. It's time out for I can't afford it. I don't have the money. Oh, I'm good where I'm at. I'm decent. Okay, decent to you may be decent to someone else. Why settle for half a cup when you can get the full cup? Why settle for what you think is a comfortable life when you have Johnny next door living free? There's nothing like being free. There's nothing like owning your own time. There's nothing like having financial freedom and not being bound by a lack of resources, a lack of time. There's nothing like it. You are sowing a valuable life lesson and a valuable life mindset to the people who are watching you, whether it's your children, your family, your neighbors, your community. You have no idea who's watching you. You have no idea who's depending on you to get it together. So I'm just here to tell you there's more to life than what you're doing right now. There is so much more to life. Do not buy into that poverty mentality. And I don't want you to ever think you're going to make it big by relying on the government to support you every month and support you every year. That's not going to happen. You're passing on that mentality to your children. There's a life out here, there's a world out here that needs you. A lot of you all have dreams and visions, and you have things in your heart that you want to see come to pass in your lifetime or in the lifetime of your family and kids. And you're holding on to them. You're sitting on them. You're scared. You're comfortable. Some people are comfortable. They're comfortable getting up and going to a job and being told what to do. That's comfortability. That's security for some people. But there's an old saying that says if there's no risk, there's no reward. If you don't take that risk and jump and look and see, what if I did the thing that's in my heart? What if I just decided to jump and say, you know what? I'm willing to join you. I'm willing to just do what I see you're doing. I jumped. And I can tell you right now, 3 years later, I'm now seeing those seeds that were sown come to harvest just in 3 years. There's plenty more to go. I jumped. I'm happy I'm jumped. And I'm never looking back. So I thought I'd share this with you. Please subscribe to this channel. Please comment. Please like. Tell me what you think. I would love to hear what you think. Also, follow me on social media. This video will be uploaded to my YouTube channel, which is NaturallyNiajaJ. You can find me on Instagram at NaturallyNiajaJ. I am also on Twitter at NaturallyNiajaJ. And I am on Facebook at Niaja Jackson. I will put all of that information in the description of this video. But I wanted to share this with you because it's been in my heart. It has been burning. It has been burning, and I now have the time to actually do it. And I'm excited. So let me know what you think. And please, please, please follow me on those social media platforms. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening, guys. This has been an almost 25-minute video, but I'm so happy I shared what's in my heart today. So thank you so much for listening and supporting me. All right, thanks. Bye, guys.